Welcome. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps spread the word and helps make more of these videos possible. If you like this video even more, you can make a recurring donation via Patreon or a one-time donation via Ko-fi. The links are all in the description below. Enjoy the video. Hello, this is Karia again, and I have another video for you today. Today I'll be doing a video on the coloring book Toolshed. I try to give you guys things that are interesting and new. Sorry, I'm still getting used to it. I just got a wedding ring. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary, my wife and I, of 10 years being married on August 2nd, and I just got a wedding ring because I outgrew the other one and then I couldn't be resized, so I just got a new wedding ring. And I'm still getting used to it, so if I bang my finger on the table, I apologize. So the coloring book is called Toolshed. It's by John Lee Phillips, and he's a very interesting artist. Basically, what he did is he took everything in his tool shed. This is a good illustration of it. He took everything in his tool shed and he drew everything that he has. So if he has multiple nails, then he drew multiple nails. And so, for example, this page is his pencils, and what I found fascinating about this page is that you can, I did this with, I believe, the Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarelle. I didn't write it down in the page like I was supposed to, because I was supposed to finish the whole page, and then I ended up doing a different page. Anyway, but if you know your brands, you can spot like the Polychromos, you can spot like the Albrecht Dürer. So it's really, really fascinating to see all these different brands of pencils represented. So that's kind of wild. So he ended up drawing just everything in his tool shed. He would draw, if he has a container full of nails, he would take the nails out and then draw however many nails were in the container, draw each one, and then draw the container filled with nails. So that's kind of his method. And it's a little wild. Some things I cannot identify because I'm not, I don't have any tool skills. I don't do any sort of DIY home construction stuff, so I couldn't identify some stuff. But the good news is that everything has, you can see there's a number right there, and then if you go to the back, hold on, I'll go to the back. If you go to the back, there's a page number, and along with the page number you can see what everything is. So if you need to look a specific item up, you totally can, and I found that to be extremely useful, especially since a lot of the stuff I just did not know what it was. And in fact, I just finished this page right here. This was done with Lucas 1862 watercolor paints. I just finished it, and I would be using this in part for my Lucas review when I review the Lucas. I think this is going to be my new book that I use for watercolor, because a lot of times people want to see how specific brands of paint look in a coloring book. So this might be my coloring book to go to, even though it's double-sided. The other side is fine. It's totally usable. In fact, you can do both sides. Since the pages are double-sided and not perforated, I may have to remove the pages from the book. As you guys have seen my video on how to remove the binding, there'll be a link up there to that. And I may end up just removing the binding for this book. But anyway, so it takes watercolor paint, it takes watercolor pencil, and it takes regular pencil, and it does take marker as well. So this is a very versatile book for you to use in all of your mediums. Look at this. Look how he goes through. And this was recommended to me by my friend and patron Amy, and she loves sort of the coloring books that give you a lot of, that are more repetitious, and that's not usually my style, but in this case I've really enjoyed it, and I really am finding a lot to like here. I've only started that one page of the repetitive items. This is an example of him. So he draws the empty container, and then he also draws the containers filled with stuff. So you get both of them in the coloring book. I really, really wish that they had been single-sided perforated, because like stuff like this is a really great book. The art is really interesting and really well done, but stuff like this just takes away from the experience for me anyway. And I hate fighting with the bindings. I know some people don't care, but I personally hate fighting with the binding. I personally prefer single-sided books because, as I said earlier, I will remove these from the binding and tape them to a clipboard or something, and use paints or colored pencils or whatever in that way. So it's easier for me that way. So this is a great example of what he did. So he has all his nails and his little bits, and then he has the jar filled with the nails and the bits. So this is also great for just like coloring. I have not used markers in this book, but I see no reason why I wouldn't take markers. Look at all these nails. Like it's impressive, but it's also like dude is a little cray. Like it's a little cray in like a good way. Like this is a little like intense. So he went through and he numbers all his nails. Look, he numbered all the nails, and then you can go to the back and you can see, in case you needed to know the difference between 3,661 nail and 3,663 nail, just in case you were curious about what the difference between those two was. And I assume that these are ones that he actually has. These are the scissors. This is a scissor page, and I must say that the scissor page really made me want to go out and get some more scissors, because I feel like I don't have enough scissors. I have scissors like these for cutting various forms of knitting, but they have like a little bird shape to it. But I found this to be just utterly fascinating, just the amount of time and detail. And I also like, in addition to the detail of the individual items and the detail of drawing them together, I also like the way that the items are laid out. So the layout of most books matter, but the layout here is especially important because of the fact that he's drawing just so many objects. I found the layout here to be really conducive to just having a fun, relaxing experience, and the amount of detail is done in such a way that you can do as little or as much detail as I like. For the one that I colored, I went for a moderate amount. Let me see if I can show you. So I went for a lot of detail, but not, I didn't go in with, 20, 30 layers. I just went in with like 1 or 2 layers on this. And that's probably the way that I'm going to go through with the rest of the book, is I'm probably going to stick to using this one for watercolor paints and watercolor pencils. And, not doing too much detail, but I'm so impressed. There's so much here. Look at this. And also, if you like to buy tools, this is also a fun book too, because then you can look at various tools and see, what does this do or what does that do. So some of the tools, I remember having to look it up and being like, what is that? Go to the back, see what it's called, and then have to go to Google and look it up and see what it does, because I don't know what a lot of this stuff does. But anyway, this is super fascinating. Look at this. This is where the layout is really cool. And I just wish it had been perforated and single-sided. This would have been a great 2-page spread for a single-sided book. I mean, this is just really good. This is just one of those books that I just have not seen that many people talk about, but that I find really, really interesting. If you have somebody in your life who is into like DIY and gardening and all that stuff, and you want to try to see if they'll color with you, this is a great book to get people into it. This is some sort of a knife. I love my Swiss Army knives though. I do. Alright, we are almost at the end. And the fact that it's single-sided versus double-sided is definitely a matter of preference. I know a lot of people prefer double-sided books because they feel like they get more bang for their bucks. Look at these paintbrushes. It's also really good because you can see how somebody drew something. So if you're looking for, if you're learning to draw as I am, this is also another good book for that. So overall, I really enjoyed this book, and I'm super impressed with it, and super impressed with what's doable on it. Alright, I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna look that up later. That looks like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I have to look this up. This is 36 on this page here. And because because it gives you an index in the back, the pages are numbered, so that's really good. You guys know that I've reviewed books in the back that have an index, but no page numbers, so that it's impossible for you to actually find what you're looking for. And as far as I know, this is the only coloring book done by this artist, which is really impressive. So they must have had somebody on their team that really is familiar with coloring books to really do something that's really special, and that seems to have been very well thought out. Even if I personally would have preferred double-sided, single-sided, but that's neither here nor there. You can also color on this page. This page right here is totally colorable. You'll just need a medium that's a little bit more opaque, maybe wax-based pencils over oil-based pencils or something along those lines. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! This is why all my clothes is covered in cat hair. Oh, you want to be left alone? Oh, now isn't that interesting? Because somebody woke me up this morning demanding to be fed and then didn't even eat. So now you're telling me you want to be left alone. That's fascinating. You know what I think? I think I'm going to harass you anyway. Ha ha!